All right. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I feel like it's been quite a while since we got a call, and it actually has been. I was looking back at just to make sure that I had actually recorded our last call, and it was well before Christmas. It was the week before Christmas that we had the last call because Tuesdays kept falling on holidays. We had Tuesday was New Year's Eve. And then Tuesday, next Tuesday was, the first Tuesday was Christmas Eve. The next Tuesday was New Year's Eve. So it's been almost a full month since we've had a call, and which is okay. You know, I think back to my busiest days running Lawn Dog, and it was literally the time between the week before Christmas towards the week after New Year's was literally the one time of year where we were legitimately slow, and that I've always enjoyed my time off at the holidays because it allowed us to, you know, there was really no pressure. Everything is, you've kind of completed the previous year, you haven't begun the next year, and obviously I'm stating what is completely obvious, but that's the case. So the fact that we haven't had much of a call or an opportunity to have a presentation or communication between then and now is quite all right. And I hope you guys all had an awesome holiday. Hope you had a good Christmas. Hope you had a good New Year. How's the weather treating you guys, right? I know that, whatever, but I'm trying to look at what part of the country you guys are in. And yeah, other than Jeff down there. Jeff, what's it like in Georgia? It's probably pretty cold down there too. Most everybody else on the call is, yeah, we're looking at mostly upper Midwest, Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, and it's friggin' freezing. I was just talking to my good friend Mike Callahan, who is not on the call today. He was texting us. It is negative 27, he says, in Rochester right now. Which I don't even see how that's possible. Is that even possible? Tina in Pennsylvania says it's 8 degrees. They canceled school. It's about that much here, probably a little bit warmer, but negative 27 in Rochester is ridiculous. That's borderline. Jeff, are you serious? 6 degrees in Atlanta? Man, you guys, that must be complete pandemonium. This is definitely. I was also just talking to somebody in Chicago, I guess is probably closer to Rochester than we are here, and it was negative 20 this morning. It's borderline scary cold. So, you know, you throw that in there with some snow events, and I know a lot of you guys do some plowing, and it's tricky. So if there were ever a time to get it out of our system, I guess it's now. -2 in Indiana, and actually, I'd like to welcome. Let's see, we've got several new applicators. We brought on quite a few new dealers, and towards the end of the year, Dick, Jeff, and Scott were working real hard at getting some new applicators on. So I'd like to welcome you guys who this is your first conference call with us. Welcome to the group. We have this call once a week on Tuesdays. Sometimes we're really productive. Sometimes we just hang out and act foolish, and that's okay too. So for those of you who are just joining us now, the best way to communicate throughout the course of the call is to type something into the console, like some of you have already done. John is reporting a heat wave of 9 degrees. And so far on the board, that's probably the warmest, John, in Connecticut. So I think in New Hampshire, it's probably about what it is. So again, what we do on these calls is normally we have an agenda, and we kind of go over certain things. We open it up to question and answer, and it's usually very productive. Sometimes it's not so productive. Sometimes people like to type in swear words at me and make bad jokes and try to get me to crack up, and sometimes that works. But we do like doing these calls for a couple reasons. One, again, we do have usually we have a set agenda. It acts sort of like a community gathering for all of us who are all working towards a common goal, especially this time of year. We're all trying to get our marketing plans in gear and try to start to make more sales. But it's also a place for us to talk about new products, troubleshooting, all kinds of things that face us, as lawn care applicators, not just organic lawn care applicators, but as landscapers and people working in the same industry. So thanks to those, thank you to those who are joining us for the first time. I'm glad you're part of the team. We're close to getting to be at 100 dealers. You know what, I don't even know exactly what it is. Dick always makes fun of me for exaggerating it, but we're getting pretty close. So we're growing. We're looking forward to a really, really good year, and it's all possible because of our numbers. So again, I'm totally beating a dead horse here, but welcome to the group to all of you who have joined. Scott's saying that we've got 10,000 dealers. That's not the case, Scott. So as I said, typically we do have an agenda and we go over certain things, and I've got a PowerPoint, where we hit them one at a time. I don't this week, and it's sort of by design, mainly because we are just coming back from a long break. I do have some things I want to touch on. Naturally there's things I want to cover, but I'd like to open it up to you guys as much as possible for anything that you want to talk about or anything you want advice on. We can kind of change gears based on what it is you want to cover. So we've got a fairly good group. Looks like there's about 30 companies on today, so hopefully you'll be able to throw something at me. Before I get going, we're doing, what's up, Bill? Let me get to that in a minute. Thank you. That's an excellent question. Before I get going here, we are going to typically, look at that goofy picture there. I want to show this to you guys if you haven't got an email from it. Every January, over the last couple of years, we've done what we call lawn care in the 21st. To be honest, you guys, and some of you probably came on as a result of these. They're recruiting tools for us. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We do these webinars to try to generate leads to be able to bring on new applicators into the network. But we've had some really good webinars over the last couple of years in the off season, and again, we call them Lawn Care in the 21st Century. And we're going to do them on Fridays in January this year, and so far we've got 3 scheduled and ready to go. And I think they apply to most everybody in the network, so I encourage you to join us. I know Dick and Jeff sent out an email blast today. If you didn't get it, send an email to us and we'll send it off to you. Or go to the Facebook page, the Lawntrepreneurs Facebook page, where we kind of goof around all of the signups are there. It's facebook.com/Lawntrepreneurs. That's sort of our Facebook page for the recruiting room. But the first one this week is going to be about business. It's going to be about business basics, not necessarily even lawn care stuff or not necessarily, organic stuff, but how to run your business, how to, real basic things that you should be doing that, to be honest, you guys, we kind of skip out on a lot. We always talk about how as small business owners or even medium-sized business owners, it's a struggle to differentiate between whether you're working in your business or working on your business. And as you grow, as your business gets bigger, you have to focus on working on your business as opposed to working in your business. And running a good business is all part of that. So with that first one we'll do on Friday, we'll revolve around business stuff. And it'll be pretty beginner type stuff, but it's certainly worth checking in on. The second one we'll do about organics. And that's more of a recruiting one. We'll talk about what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. I'll throw some BeeSafe stuff in there as much as possible. And then the one on the 24th, Friday the January 24th, is going to be about marketing. And that'll probably be a repeat of a lot of the stuff we talk about already that we started talking about really in October or November of last year. So again, but it wouldn't hurt to jump on. So I just wanted to let you guys know that if you want to sign up for them, look for an email that went out today. And if you didn't get that email, you can always go to our silly Facebook page, which is the Law Entrepreneurs. Jeff or Dick or Scott, remind me, is it the Law Entrepreneurs or is it Law Entrepreneurs? I forget. They're not paying attention to me. Okay, so with that being said, oh, Jeff, thanks for reminding me about that. I'm glad you mentioned that. Jeff Britton, are we still having the online training on the 9th and the 10th? We changed that, but let me bring that up real quick to the group. We do have a live training here in Manchester on February 20th, and it's going to be pretty packed. But in advance of that, we wanted to do a real abbreviated version of training online using this same exact platform. All I'm going to do is use GoToWebinar and do sort of a live webinar. I'm looking at my calendar, Jeff, because we changed the dates, and I want to verify that I'm giving you the right time. The 14th and the 15th, we'll be doing a very, very abbreviated BeeSafe training for new applicators. Those of you guys who are on the call today, you've got that information from the guys, Jeff, Scott, and Dick, the Launtrepreneurs. But any existing dealer who wants to join it, man, I absolutely encourage you to. I don't have it completely worked out yet, so it might be a little bit. I'm planning on 2 hours per day, so a total of 4 hours on the 14th and the 15th, which is a Tuesday and a Wednesday. That's going to be a little bit of a challenge for me to keep it to that length because there's always so much to talk about, and I haven't completely got the agenda or the schedule ironed out all the way yet, but I will. And I think it's going to be pretty good. So thanks for bringing that up, Jeff. It is not the 9th and the 10th. It's the 14th and the 15th. And everybody is absolutely welcome to attend. And if there's any one thing anybody thinks I should focus on more than the other, your suggestions are certainly open. We're certainly open to your suggestions. So good. Is there anything else I'm kind of forgetting in terms of housekeeping? We're going to do these webinars. On Fridays, we're going to do training on the 9th and the 10th. We're going to do a live training here, February 20th and 21st. I think that's it. So let me go, Bill, before I get into those questions, the question that you asked, I'm apt to talk about products really quick here, this one here, because we've got this one ironed out, and Scott should have gotten this or will get this to you as you continue to talk to him about putting together your product program. I wanted to just bring this up because I think I've generated a little bit of confusion talking to a couple of people over the course of the last couple of days, and I had a conversation this morning with Kevin, who I know isn't on the call, and he kind of accidentally expressed a concern that he wasn't that concerned about it, but the way he said it made me think of something. He said, "Man, I gotta be careful with the amount of programs that I'm now offering," and some of you guys, and you know, I can think of a couple of specific ones, and hopefully you're not all like this. All of a sudden, you can find yourself with 4, 5, even 6 programs, and I don't think that's a good idea. And when I say programs, I'm talking about programs that you offer your customer base, not programs that we try to put together or offer to you. In my opinion, it's important to keep it as simple as you can with the programs that you offer your customers. Most companies in the network have their regular lawn care program, a regular traditional lawn care program, and that's usually as a result of what they've done to this point, right? So they've got a customer base that they've been treating their lawns with a regular traditional chemical lawn care program for however long. sort of the sequence of events with most companies is that then they bring on an organic program, especially if they're BeeSafe dealers. They bring on an organic lawn care program, and it gets a little tricky sometimes to put it against or up next to their traditional program because, and we talk about this in training a lot, you don't necessarily want to incriminate what you've always been doing. You want to be careful with your costs, your pricing, because you don't want your organic program to be so much more than your traditional program that nobody buys it. So that's another little complication. Many of you are offering a premium organic program, and this is where I want to just kind of clarify something. When we suggest to you that you do this is what we kind of suggest. Keyword is suggest. In terms of programs to your customers. This goes back to when we first started the silver, the gold, and the platinum program. You want to give your customers choices, but if say you're a traditional lawn care service that already has a chemical lawn care program, now you got a silver program, a gold organic program, a platinum organic program, you might have an economy program. So in this case, we're up to 5 different programs pretty quickly. You got to be careful because that's going to scare new customers away. If it gets too confusing, if it isn't a real easy user experience, they're just going to, go to TruGreen. So I wanted to suggest to you guys that these are just that, suggestions. If we say a silver, gold, or platinum program, the silver is just, in this case, 6-step all liquid. Gold is liquid and aeration, and platinum is all of that plus 2 granular applications, which is really important for transitioning lawns that have been chemically treated for a long time. You've got to get at least 1 granular in there. That platinum is there really for what we've now come to kind of call the Whole Foods crowd, somebody who wants to buy your best service and it doesn't matter how much it costs. I think that's important. You should always have something like that in there for the people where price doesn't matter. They want your best. They want the most expensive. And they want the most expensive just because that's what it is, the most expensive. It's almost a little bit shallow, but we know those people exist. So we can make suggestions as to what you offer your customer base, but it's dangerous for us to tell you what to offer your customer base because you're all so different. So we've made those suggestions. So then we came out with this most recent list here of our programs. I'm trying to open this up as big as I can, and I'm going to minimize my questions. There's lots of questions in here, but it's blocking my view, so I'm going to move that. So then we come out with our, for one thing, and for new people, for people who've just come on, man, our program gets better and better every year. This is officially the 4th agronomic season. This will be our 4th spring, really. And this program is awesome. The development that we're able to put together with new products, being able to learn from things that we want to change based on things that had happened in the past. This program is awesome. These products are really, really good. And I'm really happy with the direction that it went. So we send out this particular spreadsheet right here, and we'll talk about cool season. We've got premium organic and organic. What I want to tell you guys is this is not what I'm suggesting you offer your customers. Don't offer them the premium organic and the organic. This is what I'm suggesting, or Scott and I are suggesting to you as what you should put into whatever programs that you're doing. So with this premium organic, this is the best. That is, I'm going to bust out my highlighter. This is about as good as you can get. Okay, you can't do a whole lot better than this program. This is really, really good. That doesn't have any granular products in there, so that's different because I want you to get your granulars locally so you can save on freight, and the granulars don't make that much of a difference. It's organic. When we say regular organic, this would be, my mouse isn't working for some reason. This is where you would maybe save a couple of bucks, or if you don't have a ton of dough and you want to cut back a little bit, you might want to do this. You might want to do the premium organic round 1 and round 2, and then cut back a little bit round 3. This is more of a personal choice for what you guys have going on. If you've got a receivables problem and you ain't got no money, sometimes that happens. It's not easy running a business, so that's why you got to show up to that first Lawn Care in the 21st Century Business webinar. Things happen. You know, you can't, I know you're going to roll your eyes when I say this, but it's all about planning, implementing, and adjusting. You always have to be cognizant of where you are in regards to what you're doing. And that's all about cost. That's about how much money you spend. If you're charging a ton of dough, if your customers are paying you really, really good, if you're a premium service, if you're getting top-notch dollar for your programs, then you should do this. You should. But we've got applicators who are trying to come in low and hard, and they're not necessarily charging a premium for it, and I don't have a problem with that. And you might want to do this with as fewer inputs. It's not as cut and dry as sometimes we want it to be. So the difference between what you offer your customers and what we suggest you apply in the confines of those programs, that's different. It's two different things. You could do a premium organic program and an organic program. I don't know that I'd follow this exactly. That's why I want you to be able to always talk to Scott or me about advice. But if you're charging $50 per 1,000 square feet to customers who live in mansions, do this one. If you're charging $25 an app to people who live in the city, you got to do this one. It's all relative. So I just wanted to clarify that real quick, because I think I generated some confusion with some of the language that we use internally, some of the suggestions that we put out there for the way you advertise your own programs. And again, it was Kevin this morning, Kevin Butchko, who kind of said to me almost accidentally, he said, you know, Tom, I'm a little worried because all of a sudden I got all these programs. The fewer the better in a lot of cases. You got to give some choices, but you don't want to be out there with 6, 7 programs. And Frank, I didn't see if you were on the call. I can look, but I'm actually thinking of you specifically, buddy. Yeah, you are. What's up, Frank? Fired up? You got too many programs, and we should ratchet that back. Hey, Frank. Frank, are you listening to me? Are you in Florida yet? Frank might not be paying attention, but Frank the Tank in Kentucky goes away for the winter with Ann Margaret, and usually when I talk to him, it's the weather's a little bit different where he is than where we are, and I don't think he's paying attention. So, yeah, there he is. How's the temperature, Frank? It's supposed to be actually pretty cold down there too, but I bet you it's warmer there than it is here. So does that make sense to everybody? I just wanted to put that out there. And again, I guess we could probably review this a little bit. It's finally finalized. It is about as finalized as it's going to get. We worked hard on this. We're always really cognizant of cost, and we got to make sure it's affordable for you guys. Scott's telling me this is up on the due diligence site now, so go get it there. But we worked hard on this. There's a lot of improvements, a lot of changes, and I think it's an awesome program. This product's wicked awesome. The new growth activator is wicked awesome. Hopefully that's going to help us with some crabgrass. That is just wicked. I keep saying wicked. I was joking at first, but I know I just said wicked 4 times in a row. The new growth activator Pro is really amped up in terms of the biological content in there. That's a really improved product, and we put that in the program throughout the whole program, throughout the beginning part of the program, with the thinking that we're going to keep an eye on our crabgrass, hopefully minimize it. And then some familiar products that you've all come to know and love. The warm season one over here, I think Jeff Britton is the only warm season guy on right now, but sort of the same thing. Pretty similar to last year with a little bit of changes. Chris, good question. the most, in terms of a premium program, the liquid products you always want to put together. So, and that's actually a good point. Let me kind of gather my thoughts here for a minute. Unless you've got 2 tanks on each truck, you can't offer 2 different liquid programs. Now, if you did have 2 tanks or two individual pumps on each truck, that'd be great, because then you could, you know, spray something like this premium option on your premium customers, and you could spray something like this economy option on your economy customers. But that's not really realistic. We're all really working out of one tank or one pump, and you know, Murphy's Law says you'd end up having one of these next door to one of these, and you've got to do them on the same day. So with liquid products, you want to put them all in the same tank. You never want to make more than one pass with a liquid product. So if you were going to go this sort of premium route, you'd have everything mixed in one tank. But that's also why that granular can kind of come in handy too. So if you're selling what in this case here, hold on, let me go back to this. If you were appealing to this method here, where you've got a platinum program, you could use you could have this in the tank, and you could do an app of granular corn gluten round 1 or round 2. And that is about the best lawn care treatment you're going to be able to find anybody anywhere do. It's a combination of that granular and that liquid with the biological component helping to break down the granular. So, and I hope I answered that question appropriately. I feel like I rambled through it a little bit. You always want to mix all liquid products together at the same time. Never make 2 passes on any lawn ever. Never return to the same neighborhood twice because you have to do 2 different liquid treatments ever. You always want to be as productive as you possibly can. You do have the option to have that granular on there for a platinum if you need to. But you always want your liquid products mixed together. So back to this again real quick. This is on due diligence. It's the new program with the new products. Scott will be in touch with you in the coming weeks to start talking about ordering some product, try to get some projections out there. I can tell you this, the 1300, we call it Quick Green. I think I heard Scott call it Quick Green 13 the other day, and that sounded kind of cool, because I'm not a huge fan of the name Quick Green. It's sort of silly, but Quick Green 13 is like, you know, that's sort of hip. You are the coolest, Scott. The Quick Green 13 is going to be limited. In fact, I was supposed to get our projections to manufacturing today, and Scott, we didn't do that. We need to do that. So it's going to be a limited amount. As you all know, we make our products ourselves. So you know, products that are showing up throughout the program, you know, I don't need to cap it, but with the Quick Green 13, we have to order specific amino acids to formulate it. It's a pretty expensive product in terms of raw materials, and I need to make it in advance. So that's going to be limited. We're going to have to put together some projections. Scott and I meant to do it. Actually, we're running way late with it, but that will run out, and trust me, that's not a sales tactic. It will run out of that. So my point is that you want to get your orders in, you know, early. Good question about mini bulks. If you've got a 55-gallon drum or a tote or something in the warehouse, how you dispose of that is kind of dependent on your kind of local disposal procedure. It's not a pesticide, so it doesn't require any particular storage. It's just fertilizer. Any of these products are just going to come at you. And they don't require any, they're not pesticides, so you don't have to store them. There's no special instructions on how to dispose of the drums or the bulk tanks. Usually you just want to rinse it out and recycle it if you can, I guess. Talk to, you hear sometimes of people just putting it on Craigslist. People, will come and take it. People make, like docks or floats out of the drums. The mini bulks, people often want to just store water somewhere. So, you either throw them away or give them away. Scott, we do have pricing for that. It took us a while, and we were getting irritated with he who sets the pricing, but the pricing was finally set. Every product on this chart now has pricing along with it. And even though I said it's expensive in terms of raw materials, it's not. Scott, remind me what our cost per thousand for that was, because I can't remember. But it's not crazy. It's funny. It's a powdered fertilizer, and it's 2 ounces per 1,000 square feet. This is a totally crazy different sort of fertilizer than anything you've ever seen or used before. So it's a water soluble. Scott's telling me it's about $1.75 per 1,000 square feet. So that's pretty cheap. Not cheap, but it's not expensive. So Scott McHenry, all of the pricing is on. Should be updated in the due diligence at this point, and Scott has price lists that you can talk about before. I feel like I'm stuttering. So for all of you who are on the call for the first time, I'm usually a little bit more coherent than this. Forgive me stuttering. Okay, so I'm going to go back to, does that clear up any confusion with products? I hope so. Scott's telling me that the pricing on the due diligence site may not be 100% updated, but that it should be. If it's not, it will be soon. Otherwise, talk to or send Scott Spencer an email, and he'll get you pricing for everything. Scott McHenry, Scott Spencer is telling me to tell you to call him. Scott Spencer, Scott McHenry is telling me to tell you to hurry up. I feel like I'm at home. New products, new program, pricing's up, cost is about the same, everything is good. Products are really, really good. I'm going to close this. Buy products. So let's do some of the questions we had here. No, let's not do questions yet. Let me review a couple of quick things. And now actually I'm going long. I was kind of worried I was going to not have a whole lot to talk about, but as usual I'm going long. Our marketing sources that we've talked about for the last, 2 months, 2.5 months. You're at crunch time with getting these things done. So let me review them real quick. The direct mail with the Pearl campaign. And again, Scott McHenry, I know you had sent me an email about that. We are not going to hit our minimum as a group to get the pricing that I was telling you earlier. We are not going to hit that minimum. So with that being said, what I'm going to do for those of you who still want to go ahead with that direct mail and Pearl campaign, which I think you should make it part of your marketing campaign. Scott McHenry, yes, I'm going to connect you directly to, her name is Chelsea Pletz I'm drawing a blank with the name of the company. They quoted me 40 cents per piece if we hit 500,000 pieces. I told you 43 cents per piece, knowing that we probably wouldn't get that close. But now that I'm abandoning it completely from a centralized perspective, I will tell you that they quoted us 40 cents. I just assumed that we'd fall short of it. The price would be up to 43, and I didn't want to mess around with pricing, but 43 cents per piece is what they quoted us. For individual smaller orders, it'll be a little bit more, but I think you might be able to hold them to that 43 cents. If you want to drive it down even further, you can eliminate the Pearl campaign or some of the other stuff, which I don't think you should do, because we beat them up pretty good, and I'm kind of bummed that we weren't able to put together that quantity, but I had a feeling. So people like Scott McHenry and others who, Tina, I think you and I talked about doing something like that. I'll connect you, or I'll send out the information to get in touch with them directly. If I can help out in any way at all, please tell me. But the pricing, I wanted it to be able to tell you it was going to go down as opposed to it was going to go up. So with that being said, I'll get the connection out between everybody, and hopefully you can take advantage of it. The remarketing with Multiview, they wanted to give us a deadline, and if you'll remember how they were sort of pushy at first, which I almost told them to go away a couple times because they were a little bit pushy. Then they backed off a little bit. They had initially set a deadline of the first of the year. I think there are about 8 of you who've taken advantage of that program. I would love to see more of you take advantage of it, but they want to give a firm deadline. Again, I'm drawing a blank on the name of the person, not Catherine, but the other one. Oh, Scott, I'm glad to hear you got an appointment scheduled with her. That's great. What the heck's the other name? I've got brain damage, you guys. I can't think of it, but I've talked to her 100 times, and I'll look at it. She told me that she'd like to set a firm deadline of roughly the middle of this month on a commitment for that remarketing campaign. That it's $5,000 for 500,000 impressions. Stacy Stevens, thanks, Frank. Stacy, and for Catherine, the other woman, has been quiet. I don't know, and she was not quiet before. Seems like Stacy's doing all of the talking at this point. That's a good deal because you don't have to pay them $5,000 at once. I forget exactly how they worked it out, but you can pay them monthly, or you pay them when you use the impressions, and you determine when you want those impressions to be used, even throughout the course of a whole year. So I know many of you, or several of you, had taken advantage of it. John, I don't disagree with that. Kind of looks like it too, by the way. I think you should, if you've got anything budgeted of any significance from marketing, that's a good one. That makes sense. That's a good price. They make it easy for you to do it. I've been reading all kinds of stuff. I think I might even have sent out a link the other day about remarketing. It's new and it's very effective. So go for it. But she wanted to set a firm deadline of the middle of this month. So if it's something you're going to do, please do it. And I think they were looking for $500 as a starting point, and then you can kind of figure out how the rest of it goes. So you do have a deadline there. Direct mail, you're running out of time because it's hard to get everything printed logistically and get out there and make it work. So you're running out of time there anyways. But with the remarketing, it's the logistics are a little less hectic. What else did we have? Pay-per-click. I'm trying to get Seth to do a talk. I wanted him to do it today, and he couldn't. I think he's going to be able to do it next week. Seth of Best Pay-Per-Click Marketing. When he sent out that questionnaire for me to send to you, it was in the middle of a snowstorm. I sent it out. I think about 10 of you returned it. Most of you didn't, but most of you weren't thinking a whole lot about it. That is a no-brainer all day long. That's a campaign that if you're going to do anything, you got to do that. That will go directly through Seth at Best Pay-Per-Click Marketing. He's in Boston. He's a smart guy. He's going to kill it for you. That is something that you want to start in February. That has to get going soon. So even though most of your sales, and I'm talking sort of in the north here, if you're in the south, do it now. You want at least a month of sort of testing with that, or he wants at least a month of testing with that. It doesn't mean you're going to get, gypped on leads because he's charging you straight up $35 per lead. He just likes to test things, the campaigns and everything else. So I'm going to try to get him on this call Tuesday. If I can't, I'll just make sure you guys have everything you need to do to get started. And again, with this source, it goes directly through him. It has nothing to do with BeeSafe. I'm just a facilitator here. So we'll make that arrangement soon. But you got to get on that. You've got to get that going as soon as you can to make sure it's tweaked and it's going to work appropriately when you need it to work appropriately. So even though it doesn't feel right to make a huge investment in your marketing right now because it's 20 below zero, it will pay off later on. Trust me on that. You need to be marketing all year long. I've talked to many of you. Who've talked to Andrew about Andrew Potoshnik at Lawn Care Marketing Expert. He wants to do, for the most part, your SEO and improve your websites, which is totally fine. He's also very, very smart. So I encourage you to continue to talk to him. Lots of questions about my lawn quote too. Maybe we'll do something with that next week as well. But that is one of my favorite tools to make this whole thing happen too. Again, Jeff, I hope you got my email earlier about the spam. There was one server that was blacklisted and it was regional, so some things were landing in spam. It's been rectified. It should be all good to go. So it's time to get some of those things in action, people. Make them happen. You can't wait. Direct mail, the opportunity is passing by. The other ones, you got to get them going now. Make it happen. So now I'm going to go back through these questions. Good question, Bill Rosen. What's up, Bill Rosen? Bill says, I've almost completed my budget. I know how I'm going to advertise and market. And with what services, what, if anything, do I need to do from now until February? That is an awesome question, Bill. First, your renewals. Make sure your renewals are squared away. And if you're not sure what else to do, call your renewals or email your renewals. Get the renewals in the door. You should have as many of those squared away as possible. If you have a list of rejects and cancels from previous years, and that's an if, and if you don't, make sure you keep track of them this year so that you have them next year. And that's another thing that Luke's built into MLQ is the CRM potential of it. It'll keep track of all that stuff for you so you're not stuck in this position next year. Now's a great time to get offers out to those people. Give them a discount, make it worth their while, create a good offer. And again, even though it's early, there's nothing wrong with getting some information out to them. Start to put together some content. You should have a MailChimp account where you're going to begin to sort of feed some content and some educational content to potential customers to build their trust in you. Try to write a few things. Try to get some of that stuff set up. January is one of the most hapless months because a lot of the effort you put into your marketing doesn't necessarily pay off until later, but it does pay off. So, the next 2 weeks, yeah, it is. It's still pretty early. You're not going to see a whole lot of results, especially up where we are, Bill. I would finalize. You said you've got it almost complete. Finalize your marketing plan. Spend some time budgeting. You can spend some time budgeting your production, set up production goals throughout the course of the year. Take a look at your expenses, write a full budget. Be prepared and be ready to go. Cash flow is important too. Figure out some cash flow analysis. All right. Betsy, I didn't even see this one. Hey, Betsy, let me read this question. Oh man, that's okay. Betsy, I'm just going to read this out loud because it's a good one. You guys are smart. We're sending out an email marketing beginning of year newsletter, and then right away they'll get their renewal through Real Green. What's the best way to integrate a referral program from both of these customer touch points? So, Real Green, I think, has a referral program for you that you could use. They might outsource it to another company, but if I remember correctly, they've got some sort of a referral, electronic referral program that you could do. If not electronic, because the reason I was kind of excited about this question, I've been trying to figure this out too. How do we standardize a referral program, and how do we quantify it? How do we keep track of it? So what we used to do at Lawn Dog is we didn't have a real official way to keep track of it. It was sort of on paper, believe it or not. And if you do nothing else, make up referral pieces, referral collateral pieces. We would do it I wish I was a little bit better prepared. I could probably find it. It was just stating what the referral program was, and it was sort of a sturdy stock. It had this is how far back it was, it had a business reply thing on it. It said, if you refer a customer, we'll give you this. Suggest some people we could call or contact, or please refer them to us. And, it was a pain in the neck because we had to keep track of it in the office on paper. But if you do nothing else, do that. Get something out to those potential customers with every piece that goes out. And if it's electronically, if it's a renewal in the mail, anything, make mention of it. If you do nothing else, just make mention of it and keep track of it manually. But I've been looking at referral services and referral programs, and I can't remember which one it was right now. Maybe I'll look at it and we'll talk about it. There's a company that will keep track of everything and promote it for you, using social media, using newsletters and email and everything else, and sort of a dashboard that keeps track of who's referred who and who you owe what. It was just too expensive. It was something like $2,000 a month or something. It was too expensive for most of us, but my thoughts were that if a couple of you got together and cut the cost down, I didn't want to centralize it out to everybody because that would probably get a little bit too confusing. I'm going to make a note to get that information out to you guys, especially you, Betsy. I liked their program. It just was too expensive for individual companies, but I think very, very useful. So, again, to clarify my rambling ways here, if you do nothing else, just make sure that in every correspondence that goes out, whether it's electronic, through email, through renewals in the mail, through invoices, past dues, statements, there should be an insert that explains what your referral program is. When you refer a customer, you get this. And so many of you do so many different things, it's whatever works best for you. Some people do just cash. Some people do a free application. Some people do a free flea and tick. Some people, whatever. $25. $25 off. $25 coupon. Think of something and stick to it. That's the most important part. And I will look into that referral software. I'll send an email out to you guys with it too. That was a terrible, convoluted answer, Betsy, and I'm sorry, but I'm not at my best right now. I'm looking at the other questions, most of them that I've answered. And some profanity laced throughout here, you guys. I don't know if that's appropriate. Okay. Hey, Tim, what's going on? New guy. That was terrible, too. Sorry, Tim. Let me answer your question here. Can we use our Triumph Permagreen applicator if we put bigger nozzles onto it and get the amount of volume needed? Welcome aboard, Tim, and thanks for being with us. Good question, one that gets asked all the time. The answer to your question is yes, only if. So most of the products that you're going to be applying liquid-wise need to get down. The recommended rate is 2 gallons of finished product per 1,000 square feet. The more water, the better. And so I always say get 2 gallons per 1,000. Everybody always says, man, that's too much. I don't want to do that. You know, because if you got a 200-gallon tank and you're spraying at 2 gallons per 1,000 square feet, that tank's only going to treat 100,000 square feet. If you can do that, that's great. With the ride-ons, you do need to get an adjusted output. The permagreens aren't as easy to do as the Z-sprays, and Frank the Tank might be able to speak to that a little bit better than me. If permagreen has now found a way for you to change out the nozzles so that you can get 1.5 gallons per 1,000 square feet, go to town. I'm cool with a 1.5 gallons. If you got to get down to 1 gallon, you can do it. You can do it, but irrigation is important. We really want more water. The more water, the better with the products that we apply. 2 gallons is best. 1.5 gallons is what most people do. 1 gallon, I'm grimacing a little bit. So if you can figure it out to make anything work to get 1.5 gallons, go to town. I mean, I'm thinking of Dave in Portland, who I don't think is. Dave, are you here? Dave left me a message, and I had to send him an email early, and I don't think he's on. He's got some sort of, crazy contraption that he sprays big commercial properties with I think the spray is called the Boominator or something, man. That thing cranks. It's on a big giant tank that he sort of built, pulls it around with his Kubota tractor, and that thing will spray like crazy. It'll go, like 10 feet on either side, and you get lots of volume with that. It's different when you're doing it to working on a permagreen or a Z-spray or any of those ride-on ones. But because the trend in our industry is going back towards liquid, most of those companies have figured out how to make it happen. So the answer is yes, only if. I want you to get 1.5 gallons per 1,000. All right. Address lists. Good question, Scott. I will, again, what is the, I can't think of the contact. I'm going to have to look it up. I'll send that out to you guys too. The list company that we got a good deal with, a really good deal. If you're going to buy a list, and I suggest you do, you really want to get your marketing universe ready to go. Ryan, friend, what's up? Coming in with a really good answer. Ryan, who's also a new BeeSafe dealer, says the Z-spray can get you 2 gallons per 1,000 square feet, and that's the kind of stuff I love to hear. Yeah, baby, that's cool. Frank says he's been using the Z-sprays at 1 gallon per 1,000, and I'm cringing, but Frank has had some pretty good results on that Kentucky bluegrass. So there you go. There's the answer to that. Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Ryan. Lists, marketing lists. Scott McHenry is telling me he only gets 1.5 gallons with his Z-Spray Max. So it's all about nozzle size. It's all about how you can kind of retrofit it. But 1.5 gallons works. Lists. We negotiated a really good price for the for your lists. I'm going to have to go back and look and see what that is because I forget, and I don't want to go looking for it right now. I will get the contact information out to you. I don't think we'll get to the minimums. Actually, I know we won't get to the minimums that I gave them to get the really good pricing, but we'll see if we can hold them to that, and I will get that contact to you in an email today along with the referral software stuff. But that makes sense. You should make an investment in your marketing universe, and you can upload it to your CRM, whether you're using Service Autopilot, Real Green. Real Green's all about lists. They will hassle you forever about getting your marketing universe squared away, mainly because they want to sell you the list. And that's okay, because they can usually get you pretty good pricing on it. But you want every person, every household in your market who's a potential customer should live in a database somewhere. And the main reason for that is even in MLQ, there's a place where you can upload your marketing universe. So if at any time during the spring somebody calls you or somebody requests an estimate or replies to some marketing that you sent out, whether it's direct mail or it's click-through or remarketing or email or Facebook, and they call you or contact you, the more information you've already got in that database, the faster you're going to get an estimate out to them. Not to mention that from year to year, you will continue to build information and pricing and square footage, so that when Bill Rosen asked that question earlier on, what he should be doing now, next year, if you're keeping track of all this and you've got 1,000 properties that you've got pricing and square footage on, that's what you do in January. So invest in a list and improve it all the time. It's very, very important. I forget what kind of pricing we got, but it was some, I don't want to say it and have it not be right, but it was like 4 or 5 cents per prospect. And you should, which is a very good deal, you should do as much as you can to negotiate that down. I don't think you can get any further than 4 cents, but make an investment in that. And I will get you that contact information in an email today. I'm at the bottom of the list of questions, and for having no agenda, we certainly covered a lot of stuff today. Hopefully I wasn't as all over the place as I feel like I was, and hopefully we're able to get some good information out to you. You should have your marketing programs set soon, and you should begin to implement those marketing programs, analyze, plan, implement, adjust. I've started to sneak simplify in there, analyze, simplify, plan, implement, adjust, because some of us just get too complicated, and the more complicated things can get, the more moving parts you have, the less well everything is going to work. So you should be beyond the analyze part. You should be on or getting towards the end of the planning part, and it's time to implement some of this stuff and make some sales. Yes, that's what I mean, sir. Any other questions? Get with Scott about products. Scott's going to check with the pricing on the DD, which I think he should have updated shortly. He's always, or he's now begun to try to make that better and simpler and simplify, easier to understand. Talk to him about products. We'll continue to talk about marketing. I'd email out to you with some of the stuff we talked about. And I am officially at an hour, and most of you are still here, so that's good. If there's nothing else, guys, I'm going to wrap it up, and we'll talk next week. But thanks for joining us today, and we'll talk to you again soon.